Welcome to the podcast today. I have my good friend, Crypto Fede. He is the DevRel at Mode. Anyone has been living under a rock, please explain to them in about 1 to 2 minutes why crypto and AI are actually a good match for one another.
Awesome. Hey, Jax. So why are crypto and AI great for each other? Um, there's a few reasons. I think one of the best ones is that crypto is really great for creating, for example, tokens and exchanging value, right? So in a near future, agents are going to be interacting with each other. You're going to have very specialized agents and very specialized AI models that will need from other models to solve specific problems. So this exchange of information and exchange of value can be done through crypto in a very easy way. Other things like immutability and blockchains in general bring a very interesting combo with AI. So, for example, proof of inference or stuff like that, where we can prove that a certain model was trained on some data and just prove that a certain answer that you're getting on an LLM is coming from a specific model trained with specific data. There's a bunch of other things as well, but crypto and AI go very well together because they complement each other with their properties.
Absolutely. One I always like to mention is just the bank account idea. It's like a crypto like agent can open up a wallet in I don't know half a second, but it can't go into like Chase Bank or Fede is located in Argentina. I'm in here in Colombia, so it can't go to Bank of Colombia and be like, hey, I'd love to open up a bank account, sir. So I think that's one of the major
Yeah.
benefits I see. So talk to us a little bit about Mode because I think many people will be familiar with it, but talk to them a little bit about like what you guys are hoping to accomplish there.
Yeah, for sure. So Mode is layer two based on we're running the OP stack. And at first we really focused on DeFi. Now we're focusing on DeFi AI. Since August last year, we've rotated a little bit to AI because we created this amazing DeFi foundation and we wanted to improve the user experience for everyone and also explore the AI crypto space. And since, again, August last year, we started our AI Accelerator. We had two different hackathons and slash bootcamps related to AI. And we're working with a bunch of projects like OLAS. We have a subnet with BTensor that's called Synth to create synthetic data for BTC prices. And yeah, a bunch of other partnerships with Giza, our AI agent app store, and all of these different things that we're working on to explore this intersection between AI and crypto. Um, this is what we've been focusing on for the past few months, and it's been a crazy ride. I know you've seen probably all the craziness in CT, crypto Twitter, but we used to call it AI-Fi. Now the term DeFai stuck around, and yeah, we decided to go along with the term. It doesn't really matter how you call it. Our focus is basically improving user experience of the whole DeFi process. DeFi has a bunch of really complex mechanisms. The context for investing in DeFi is usually really hard. And AI is really good at that, at getting a bunch of context, a bunch of information, and just reducing all of that into a single, text or prompt that you can learn from. So that's what we're aiming towards. And also exploring things like AI on security, AI as well to, for example, creating front ends or specific front ends for you, a bunch of other different projects. For example, is Synth subnet, which is predicting the BTC price. It does not mean it's perfect. It is trying to predict the price, but with the P-tensor subnet, it's improving with time. So it's a bit of machine learning, right? All of these things I think are exploratory, are really cool. And yeah, we don't know where they'll end up, but the aim is to improve the whole user experience and improve DeFi and build that agentic economy that we started talking about a little bit.
Yeah, so talk to us about DeFi because I'm happy you pronounced it because I always looked at it. I was like, is it DeFi? Is it DeFi? Is it this? Is that? Like for some reason that word just like I looked at it, I was like, I have no idea how to pronounce that. So talk to them a little bit about like what do you think this unlocks? Is this I can send a voice note and be like, hey, bridge from optimism to mode? Is it like I have an agent that's now doing optimizing my portfolio based off my risk tolerance? Like what kind of things are you seeing like agents and actually happen in this DeFi space?
Um, that is actually a very good, those are very good examples. And so I mentioned agents a little bit. So an AI agent is an ideally independent software that can understand complex tasks, that has a certain context, and that can execute tasks as well, right? An AI agent is like a ChatGPT where when you tell it, hey, how do I build a cake? How do I cook a cake? Or, how do I bake a cake? Um, it would not only give you the instructions for it, and then like right now you just have the instructions step by step, and then you have to go and bake it, right? But with an agent, the idea is that you tell it what you want it done, and then it breaks it down into tasks, and then it executes it, right? So this whole thing of DeFi, which is I pronounce it like that because I've decided to just do one, and I don't care if anyone does not agree with that. That's fine. We should all just decide on one, and that's it. Um, so DeFi is a cross section between DeFi and AI, whatever that looks like, right? It could be an AI agent. It could be, for example, an AI that has context about 100 protocols, and it's giving you the best investment between those protocols, which a lot of people tell me like, is what's the difference between an agent or using AI and a bot? Like right now, I could create a script that is following 10 different protocols and just deciding which one has um, the most yield, the most like the best investment, and that is kind of true. The problem is that, or the detail is that AI is non-deterministic, so it does not give always the same answer or same results, and it can grow exponentially, like much faster, and can have a lot more context, right? With the bot, you would have to code every step of the logic, every protocol that you integrate, every little detail you would need to integrate it into code. With an agent, you could add stuff with the prompt and be like, hey, this contract now is tracking, for example, this protocol now is giving out rewards or incentives for this specific pool. Please adjust. Here's the news. Here's the article. Please adjust the algorithm to fit that in. So now your agent could not only invest into the highest yield, but also considering the incentives for that pool. And this is important in crypto because things change super fast all the time. There's incentives all the time. The plays change, like the game changes all the time. So having AI that can adapt to that really fast, I think it's really important, and it will bring really fun things in the future as well, and really useful ones. Yes, it's cool that you can send a voice note and make a swap. I do think that it's going to be useful, and it's gonna make the day to day with crypto really easy, because you should be able to just send the message in Telegram and do what you wanted to do in a safe way, right? Um, the ledger, hardware wallets, and like having to go back to your home to do something, I think that will keep on living, and we will need that forever. But there's a lot of like smaller decisions that you should be able to take easier while on your phone, and at least that's what I think, if we want to reach more users.
Yeah, well, lately, of course, we've had AI, was it XBT? We've had famous yappers essentially, and AI agents. Like, but one of the main complaints I'll hear from maybe the other side of more the AI skeptical is that they're just like, well, these are just like ChatGPT wrappers. Like, what do you kind of say to people? Do you feel like AI agents are just in their infancy, or you feel like there's real tech being built here, and those people are kind of just haters?
This is a great question. I was a hater. So I studied software engineering, right? And when ChatGPT came out, and all these people were like, "Oh, it's great. Have you tried it?" And I went to ChatGPT, I tried it, and tried it for code specifically, and it was horrible. It was not good at all. And I was just mad because people were like blown away. I'm like, Guys, this has been like, this is not something completely new. They just put it in a chat interface and trained it in a really good way. So like, it is revolutionary. I love it, but right now it's pretty bad, and I don't get all this excitement. I was a hater, 100%. I hated the craziness for AI. And honestly, when we started doing it with Mode, I was a little bit bummed of like, oh, okay, like we're gonna have to look into this, learn about it, and I don't know if it's really something. And after doing research and testing out new tools and seeing the state of the art, there's two things that came to mind. One is these things are much better than I thought. ChatGPT, Claude, and these models like evolved super fast in a like Cursor, if you use it for coding, it's really great. GitHub Copilot is kind of good. Claude is really good as well for code. And ChatGPT has improved a lot, like a lot. All of these models have improved a lot, which leads me to believe, okay, the acceleration on all of these things is crazy. I haven't seen something like that before. And number two is there's almost nothing on crypto AI, like almost nothing. Like after researching a little bit during last year, I was like, there's barely any frameworks. There's not a lot of information out there. I've studied Google, Vercel, all of these big tech companies have just put out some videos and content about AI and AI agents, like in the past 6 to 8 months, which means, okay, this is pretty hot right now. It's pretty new. Like this is all very new, and there's still a lot to go right down the road. Um, yeah, I think so. I was a hater. I'm no longer a hater. I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of vaporware and a lot of smoke and mirrors around AI agents, specifically in crypto. All of these yappers on Twitter are just some probably Eliza or some other bots, which it's fun. I think it's important that people are doing that because we never know what they'll find out. You see Eliza, they create like fun characters, but their framework itself, the memory and how they handle memory and new learnings for the agents and stuff, it's really cool and interesting. So I love that they exist, but I do think DeFi should not go down that route. For DeFi and managing funds, you need a much more deterministic, much more secure setup, and you need to have high security standards for DeFi. So yeah, I do think we'll see much better agents coming soon, and yeah, we're working on it. You'll soon
Yeah.
see much better ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember talking with Karan from Mira. I don't know if you guys have ever partnered with them, but good people. And he was one thing that I'd always takes reminding for everyone is like, AI right now is the worst it'll ever be. Like it's only going to be getting better and very significantly so. So talk to us a little bit about some of the like, agent work you guys are doing. I've seen some things on the Mode website talking about like the AI agent
Mhm.
economy. Maybe we should first define what that even means. Like what is the AI agent economy?
Great. So the AI agent economy is this idea of agents interacting with themselves and operating autonomously. So if you think about, if you ever took economy classes, at least mine, they were always under the assumption that a consumer is the smartest and they always follow a logical path, right? That's how you do a lot of economics math. That is not true at all. Like reality just shows you that people just like buying gold chains for $1 million. They barely use. They buy supercars. People just like a certain brand because of the marketing instead of the flavor. It's like consumers are not really logical when they consume anything. So the agent economy would be adapting specifically for crypto and DeFi, right? All of the DeFi protocols and all the actions that users do, adapt them so that they can be consumed by agents. So, for example, if liquidity pools or that's why crypto also is really good, as you said. We can programmatically do everything, which it's kind of the idea of open finance. But for open finance, you need JP Morgan, you need all these big banks to be okay with opening their APIs and all these security problems that they will have. So crypto's already built for that. And I think that's why it's great. So having the programmatic money and being able to code your way through every action, that is what we want to cross with AI. and that is the agentic economy. It's basically agents interacting with each other, trading with each other, agents investing in liquidity pools, creating tokens, burning tokens, doing whatever we do on chain. They should do the same.
Now, so the way I'm hearing it is like you feel like the agents will almost be entirely autonomous. Like I think a lot of people they look at agents and they're like, well, we'll be pulling the strings. Maybe I'll own a few agents myself. You feel like agents will just start spinning up other agents. Maybe we'll have like agent swarms. What do you think the kind of the future lies there?
This is completely personal opinion.
Hmm.
I think we're a little bit far away from them being completely autonomous and like doing everything, because we still need to code all of that, and we still don't understand. Like there's a million ways you could do that. I don't know who's gonna win or who's not. You never know. Like there could be a company that comes out and revolutionizes everything, sets up a standard, and then in like 2 months we have a standard for everyone. We use the internet. There's a bunch of standards with what we're doing right now with video standards, HTTPS, I don't know, TCP, IP. All of these protocols are like very down to the bone. And as you said, like AI is really early. And for agents specifically, it's kind of a way of architecture, like the agentic design. Something
Hmm.
behaves in an agentic way, but again, it's similar to a bot, right? So I do see agents being autonomous. I don't know how would you define autonomous if it's living on a computer and just close it and the process dies. Is that autonomous? Like, is that an autonomous thing that is almost philosophical, right? Um, but I do think we will have a very autonomous set of agents. I also think that each person will have a bunch of agents doing different things. I think we're already close to that. If you see, there's people having preferences for ChatGPT or Claude, and they tell you, oh yeah, I use Gemini, I use Grok, I use this. They have already preferences to what LLM they want to use, and people already tell you, oh yeah, I say thank you, I say, they talk to it as a human. So
Hmm.
I think things are gonna get weird, and we're gonna get
Yeah.
autonomous agents probably in the coming future. Yeah.
Autonomous agents, autonomous girlfriends. I always had to be nice to my AI just in case. I think it has probably a long, AWS memory history. And I'm like, dang, Jax was pretty mean to me like 2 years ago. I'm like, whoa, don't be remembering that. Uh, talk to us a little bit about the AI accelerator you guys have and what you guys are hoping to do at Bo with that.
Yeah, so we had the demo day like 2 weeks ago, I think. We incubated like 9 teams. Our head of incubation, Amber, she's amazing. She led the whole thing, connecting the teams to anything that they needed, actually. Even we helped them with security audits, helped with the grant from Optimism, so that was pretty great. Um, Audits are pretty expensive, so that was super nice. The idea of the incubation was basically bring teams that are working in the cross section between AI and crypto. For example, one of them is 42 Money, that they are it's an LLM where you can send it a smart contract address and an ABI, which are the functions of the contract, and it would generate a front end for you. The cool thing about this is that you could have your own front end mixing a few protocols that you want to use and have a front end just for you, right? And these are the types of things that AI enables that I don't think people can understand. And that is, you do know that depending on where in the world you are, if you're reaching, for example, Netflix, your computer is connecting to a different server, right? That's why you have like restrictions on different countries. That's why you want to use a VPN to watch a show from, I don't know, the US or the UK or whatever. With um, the same idea, what you could do is, what if you could generate a front end that's really good and that works with AI for each country every time they ping your server? So imagine some Jax, we have a little bit of your data, the things that you like. You like dark mode, you like this, you like that. So when you ping us, we'll generate a specific front end for you, you know? Those kind of things I think are coming. Like those things are going to happen. So right now it sounds stupid and be like, oh, well, why do I want to generate a whole DeFi front end? Well, Maybe you're doing some specific use case that you want to have everything in one website. You don't want to have to go to three different websites, so you have everything in the same front end. Other teams, for example, Quill AI audits, they audit smart contracts with AI, which is again, it's a filter, right? You won't get a really quality audit and you will not get everything done for your code, and you won't get perfect code by analyzing it with AI. But if we have a really good database with all the vulnerabilities that we know, and a lot more context, then you can just pass your smart contract through an AI and get a few results on how to improve the issues that you have. And then I think there were like 9 teams in the accelerator. We just did the demo day, and yeah, super cool projects. Honestly, that was really nice to see.
Yeah. Very exciting to see where all those projects go. Now, one thing I wanted to talk with you, because you're a DevRel, so you're somewhat similar to me. Obviously, Fede does a lot more coding than I do. I'm a non-practicing engineer at this point. Is talk to us a little bit about content creation, because we've seen with these like AI agents, they're like kind of like spamming the timeline. I have like AI agents respond to me every single day on Twitter. What do you think is kind of like the future of content as you see it, like content creation? Do you feel like text is
Oof.
dead because we're going to see so many AI agents just like swarming text?
I think text is dead because of attention span. Again, this is super personal, but I since I've been in college, I've always preferred video over text. I like video because it sums up a ton of information really short. So it gives me like in 5 minutes, you can get a high level understanding of almost anything if it's well explained. And then if you want to go deep into it, yes, I think you do need text and go like deeper to a textbook or whatever. But like at least for me, and I think my generation as well in general, and I see it in kids as well. Like I have, I know some from family and stuff, like, I don't know, 10-year-olds, they are all day stick to a screen and they just understand a lot more through video. um, it depends on the person, but yeah, I there's something weird that I think is going to happen with content, and that is, I think it's happening now, that people are looking for human content. It's nice to see an AI and everything, but the AI videos are horrible. Even if they become very real, I think we'll always want to see the human content, the mistakes, the different approaches. And I don't know if creativity from humans is gonna be, improved or changed by AI. I think we'll always be able to see that difference between the human and an AI. Maybe not, but at least for the coming future, yeah.
Yeah, I've also seen for like Gen Z and some of the younger generations that live streaming has become really, really popular. And I don't know if it is that just proof of like humanity. I guess I think it kind of predates AI, but what do you kind of attribute that to? Because it seems to, yeah, it kind of predated AI a little bit in that sense.
Yeah, I never got it actually. I never understood really streams. I have a bunch of friends that they just see people playing League of Legends for hours. I'm like, dude, I want to play. I want to be like the main character. I don't want to see someone playing. I never understood
100%.
that. Um, I kind of get it. I get the idea of like, I just put it there. He's funny. I get the comments, the thrill of like just. I feel it's kind of like hanging out with friends. I do think the that COVID and the whole lockdown really hit on how kids interact with each other and how people interact with each other. And live streams, I think that's a good point. Honestly, I haven't thought of that. Live streams are like, okay, this is a human being doing something at the same time I'm here, so it creates that sense of connection, I think. But yeah, that's an interesting point. I don't know where content is
Yeah.
going, but
You know
yeah.
what I think it is? I think it's just what you were saying. It's like people want to. It's like they can almost have friends by them all the time. Like they could just watch the live stream. They're like, oh, I'm friends with that guy. It's just the parasocial relationship. So talk to us a little bit, because I think you're actually the first DevRel we've had on this specific podcast. On my other podcast, we've had Nick Frosty from Solana Foundation, and we've had Starknet as DevRel. But for people that are unfamiliar with DevRel, what does DevRel do, and like what are like the main objectives of the role?
Awesome. Devers will like to fight it a lot. You said I was coding more than you. I doubt it. It's hard to find time to code as a DevRel. But what is DevRel? DevRel is developer relations. You can see the role as well as developer advocate. Some call it developer marketing in some places as well. It's this sense of, or this role, which is usually public facing. Usually it can also be internal, but that takes care of the developer experience in a certain product. It depends a lot on the product and what you're offering. So, for example, Google Cloud or Amazon Web Services, right? AWS. These two, what do they need to be successful companies? They need a lot of developers building with their technology, right? It's not the same as, I don't know, Airbnb or Uber. They need users that are not developers. So there's a certain type of companies that to be successful, their users are developers, right? That's when a DevRel comes in handy because the DevRel is usually a technical person that is in charge of creating that developer community, helping attract those developers, establish relationship with those developers, and make your product successful in a developer environment. Why is this needed? Because developers are very different from regular users, and the way they interact with these products, it's really different as well. It's not just someone buying something and using it, it's someone integrating your core technology into their product. It's someone that really should understand your product deeply and that you will be there solving their problems, right? In my case, I work at the layer two, which is Mode, which means my kind of role here is make sure the documentation is up to date, make sure that the testnet and everything is like all the resources are there for developers to come and deploy their smart contracts. Mode is nothing special on the block size or speed or stuff like that. We're layer two, same that like a lot of others, right? But what is important right now, in my case, and what I tell developers is the ecosystem itself. So if you come to Mode, the tech works, the blockchain works. We have a bunch of really cool integrations that will help your development process. So like Tenderly, for example, and a bunch of others. So my job is you're a developer, you want to build on Mode. I have the answers to help you and be successful in there. That does not mean I teach developers. I hate this concept of DevRels teaching developers. I will never be able to teach someone that is spending 8 hours a day coding. There's no way. There's no way because one guy comes with a React question, another one with Solidity. Some guy is asking me about like Rust. So I barely know Rust, but maybe I can help you decode some stuff. I know general engineering, and maybe I can guide you through stuff, right? And to this point of like coding, it's really hard to find time to code while I'm organizing hackathons, doing this type of interviews, doing workshops, changing documentation, running the ambassador program. So a lot of developers, and I say this to ease the anxiety because I've had this question a lot from developers telling me like, dude, how do you do all of this? Like I can barely only code, I'm learning all of this, but you seem to know like everything. I'm like, no, dude, I'm just a yapper. Like I know probably 10% what you know about React, but I know enough to communicate what we need, and I know enough to do something if I need to do that. But I could not be a core engineer at a big protocol right now or a big company because I would need a few months to catch up and get the rust off me so I could be faster at coding. But yeah, so
Oh,
chill. I don't
100%
do
for me, the
everything.
same way. I used to be like a pseudo DevRel at both BlackRock and I was an engineer at Google, but
Well,
eventually I became somewhat of like a DevRel, and I used to manage like the Firebase JS SDK, and it was horrible because like people would come with like Vue questions, React questions, like all different kinds of frameworks. I'm like, oh, so hard. So how do you
yeah, dude.
engage the developer community? Do you find them mostly in like Telegram? Is this Discord? Is it like you're doing YouTube live streams?
Great. That I didn't know you did all of that before. That's interesting. I mean, I'm gonna have to interview you after this. Great. So, where do I find developers? That is a good question. So, I haven't. How do I phrase this? Okay, so I think Web3 is very different from Web2, right? Especially because of the dev talent and the market for developers right now is super weird. juniors out of really good colleges, even in the US, which is like, if you're from the US and a really good college, it should be easy for you to get a job, which is not the case. I've seen so many juniors having a really hard time to find like an entry level job in general. Um, why say this? Because I think DevRel goes a lot with the job market regarding developers. I think it impacts it very, very like hard, right? Um, Doing hackathons is a good thing to. So I'll restart. Sorry, I'm thinking of 10 different things right now. So
Oh, good.
I
Oh, good.
think you should have different strategies, right? So depending on what your kind of target developer is, because we are a layer two, right? I'm not going to target the traditional developer that wants to work at a big bank and have a paycheck every month and just be chilling there, because those kind of people don't want risk. Usually, developers, what I've seen, is they don't like risk that much, right? They want to have a secure job and maybe do a side gig. Uh, that's why developers usually have, I don't know, a lot of them have two jobs or a job and a few side things that they're doing. Like usually you don't see them just quitting their job and just being like, okay, I'm just gonna build stuff. It's not usually the case. So what I try to think of, and like my thing that I try to optimize, is how do I bring the stress, anxiety, and risk down for these developers, right? So, for example, a hackathon, just telling them, look, we're going to do a hackathon for 3 weeks, or a bootcamp that we did, the AI Agent Founder School. We're going to teach you stuff. You can see videos about it. We're going to give you resources about it. You're going to be in a group that you'll get support from a bunch of other people, and everyone's in the same place as you. And there's cash prizes as well in the end to justify for the time that you spent here. So for someone that is working, it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can spend 2 or 3 weekends working on something. I'll learn about AI. I'll learn about agents. I'll maybe make some money with a price and build that thing that I've had in mind for the past few weeks that I don't know if I can build or not, but I'll give it a try. So sources, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think as much as you can put yourself out there, but the one-on-one conversion is super important in DevRel. And I've seen that's the thing that works the most, which I hate because I cannot really escalate that too much. I'm just one person. I get pinged too much. I don't reply in time to a lot of people, and I'm so sorry about that. But um, there's a bunch of developers that depend on me, and I try not to make them dependent, right? I try to get them to be successful, give them all the tools that they have, and try to guide them. But in the end, it's their job, like it's their work that they're putting out. And as we said, I'm not going to teach them how to, build with React or Solidity or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of what I think to acquire developers in general.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes complete sense. And then finally, we always ask people for, what they think is a really good opportunity in the crypto AI space. Do you feel like there's any area that's under addressed right now, or you feel like will be really big in a year, 2 years?
Yeah, quite a lot actually. As I said, like I think the crypto AI space is not very developed. You can see a lot of ecosystem having their own agent kit, but they are not well polished. It's not like the developer experience is not great. There's a lot of things missing. We're pushing hard, for example, Goat SDK, which is an open source framework that brings on-chain tooling to agents and things like ELISA, for example, really great. What I think it's underdeveloped, it's almost everything. So, for example, communication between agents. We don't have a reliable way to do that. A lot of people are doing that through API endpoints and stuff, which security. This is something I've thought about a lot. And not only wallets management security, but also prompt engineering. Like, are we gonna have prompt injection, like SQL injection, but from prompts? Like, if I'm able, like, if an agent has an API and I can reach out as a malicious actor, can I, bypass the front end or whatever you're doing and just inject a prompt that will send funds to me? Um, so security for agents, that's something that people are talking on TEEs, trusted execution environments, but I don't think it's fully done yet. The whole architecture of security, communication between agents, and then uh, specifically train models for crypto. So using ChatGPT is great, but if I ask it what are the top 10 balancer pools, like it has no idea how to answer that. So, and I know a few teams working on this, and at least I know a bunch of teams working on the things that I've just mentioned, but they're or just starting or have something, in the works. And I still think everything is very early to determine who's going to win on that sense. But yeah,
Yeah, and
those are the
absolutely.
things that
So
I'm
like
thinking of.
you have a
Yeah.
rag that would dynamically inject in, maybe coin market cap information or, specific on chain details. Yeah, I think that's a great opportunity. I've talked with probably at least 2 companies that are doing it, but still, yeah, again, very early stage. So a great opportunity. And finally, what are some of the like upcoming milestones for Mode that people can look forward to? Any events you guys have coming up?
Yeah, for sure. We're probably going to be in Denver, so if you're around, just let us know. And our focus right now is growing the AI Agent App Store, and we're working with like 15 different teams. So Chirper is live, which is a AI token launcher on Mode, and you can build your agents no code as well. Arcade, which is a gaming agent as well, where you can play games, and soon gonna be in Telegram, and it's gonna be pretty fun to play. Um, with that, like 5 or 6 different agents are coming live in the next 2 weeks. Some more degen, some less degen. Midas, for example, part of our AI agent founder school, we have a few projects that we're going to help incubate and try to get them to market, get them users, and see if people like them or not. Which is, for example, Midas, which is an LLM where you can do everything on Mode. So just chat to it. It has a smart wallet set up for you, so you just send it the funds and you can even use it from your phone because it's managing your wallet. So you could tell it, hey, what are the LPs on Kim? What are the best to invest in? Just please invest in this one, and it will just do it for you. Same with swapping, same with bridging, same with voting and the mode governance. So it can do everything for you. Another one that's pretty funny, it's called BC Millet, which is basically a BC where you pitch it an idea and it will decide if it's good or not to invest. And like that kind of thing, right? It's fun, it's experimental, it can go very bad. I'm not sure BC Millet is going to make any money, but the experiment is good, right? Like we're working towards something that we have no idea where it ends. So these are some things that we're working on. And I think one of the biggest thing is the B-Tensor subnet called Synth, which we kind of talked about. It predicts the price of BTC. It's just live on mainnet, and now we're looking for any projects that want to use this data to improve their predictions on Bitcoin and maybe for liquidations and a bunch of other things that you could do with it. I think that's one of the biggest things that we're doing as well. So yeah,
Very
pretty
exciting.
excited to
And then,
grow all of that. Yeah.
then finally, where can people find more about you? Where can they connect with you on Twitter? Where do you want to direct people to?
Yeah, so on Twitter, it's a little bit hard because I'm at Fede Sarkis, Sarquis. I'm Crypto Fede in there as well. But if not, you can ping me on Telegram at Crypto Fede, which is easier, or Discord Crypto Fede as well. You have it written down
Oh,
here.
yeah, and I'll
Yeah,
put it in the description. So don't worry, people. Just
great.
scroll down and you'll be able to see it. Well, thank you so much for coming on here, and let's continue building the future of on-chain AI.